Alright battlers, Snorlax welcomes you to a brand new video, and if you are frustrated with the Ultra Premier League, hold the phone. I do have a Team Rocket double Shadow team that has worked really well for me with Shadow Snorlax, Shadow Dragonite, and EMPOLEON. As you can see on the left side of the screen there, I do have the movesets and IVs for all of these Pokemon. Shadow Snorlax into Purified Lapras. The swap comes into Gallade, and we answer with our Shadow Dragonite. That 20% extra damage does wonders to melt these Pokemon really quickly. Will this Dragon Claw KO? And it does not. Gallade is going to hang on and get a charge move. The 20% attack bonus is nice, but the 20% defense loss is significant. As you can tell there, close combat, even though it was resisted, it does a big chunk to our Dragonite. In comes out Lapras, and we knew that one Ice Shard would wrap that up. Not a huge problem though. We do have fantastic answers here for Lapras. I'm going to come in with EMPOLEON. Now, EMPOLEON has been one of my favorite Lapras counters so far in the Ultra League Premier Cup. With the absence of many steals and electrics, the EMPOLEON is just, or excuse me, the Lapras is really shining these days. My opponent does switch into Toxicroak here, and I go back into Shadow Snorlax. I definitely don't want EMPOLEON taking those super effective counters, but look at this, battlers, in the Ultra League. This Snorlax can take some hits. It can just absorb this punishment. We're going to shield the Sludge Bomb though and go for the Body Slam here. I do think that was a mistake by my opponent. They probably could have gone straight for the Mud Bombs there, because the idea is to put as much pressure as possible, and now they are several counters away from their charge move, and they're going to pay for it here with an additional Body Slam. This Body Slam does KO Toxicroak. As you can see there, fantastic play with Snorlax being able to bring down the Toxicroak, and this is why I love EMPOLEON. We're going to go straight for a Drill Peck here against a Lapras. It doesn't get stabbed, but that Hydro Cannon is just so heavily resisted. Drill Peck is the way to go. My opposing Lapras is going to go for a Surf here, and we do shield that up. They got quite a few Ice Shards, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be a Skull Bash. I do think the recommended moveset for Ultra League Lapras is Skull Bash and Surf, but here comes the Surf, and back to what I was saying, I love EMPOLEON because of how much damage that Surf does. Hardly any at all, taking a little chunk out of our Steel and Water type Penguin here. We're going to fire off a Drill Peck, and this Lapras is very low. One more Drill Peck is going to seal up this game for us. Jumping right into game 2, as you can tell, these are rank 9 battles, 2500 ELO plus. Here we go with Snorlax into this Venusaur. I actually don't know this matchup by heart, so I want to see if I can outpace the Venusaur, and it is going to win CMP. That's always something important to note when you go into these matchups and you're not familiar with the Pokemon. If you can beat a Pokemon to CMP, sometimes you can flip some matchups, but if you lose CMP every time, it might be a good decision to maybe think about swapping out and trying to time your switch. I try to catch a Frenzy Plant there, and my opponent was very steady there, so I am expecting a Sludge Bomb from Venusaur, and we do decide to shield. My opponent does swap into Gyarados, and this is where Shadow Dragonite gets into trouble. Those Dragon Breaths are going to be super effective against the Dragonite because it is a Dragon type attack, but Gyarados isn't going to take super effective back because it is a Water Flying type. So if you're wondering why these matchups are so lopsided, that Gyarados does have some very interesting resistances thanks to its typing. At this point, I'm going to come in with EMPOLEON. EMPOLEON is a powerful closer in this team as well. If you're enjoying this already and you're thinking about running this team, I'm going to try to give you as many tips as I possibly can throughout the video. We do absorb that Crunch, and as you can kind of get a gauge there of how much damage it does, Aqua Tail is going to do less, and Crunch is definitely the superior move to use in the matchup. We're going to fire off the Hydro Cannon. I'm looking for the swap. Here comes that Venusaur, and out comes my opponent's Snorlax. Check this out. This is why I run Superpower on this Shadow Snorlax. Boom, taking a big chunk out of Snorlax. We're going to have our attack and defense drop, but we're going for a second superpower, putting as much pressure as possible. Here comes that second drop, but look at this, battlers. That normal typing resists the lick so well that this Snorlax is forced to use energy on us. That is just so wild to me, how you can get double debuff from superpowers and your opponent still has to use a charge attack. That is just the Snorlax mirror for you. We are going to shield up that Body Slam, work up a one more waterfall, and then go right here for the Hydro Cannon. This will KO, but I'm worried the Venusaur is a Frenzy Plant, and luckily we are able to waterfall down. Going into this matchup, Shadow Snorlax into Dragonite. I also tried to give you a lot of different looks in terms of leads, so you can get maybe a bit of an idea on how to handle each one. We're going to work up to a Body Slam and a half, and I'm pretty confident this Dragonite already has the Dragon Claw, but we are going to go ahead and land that attack, which is really nice, and I tried to push for a second one, but we're not going to make it. This Dragonite is going to go for a Hurricane though, so we are in really bad shape. I come in here with my, with my Empoleon. Out comes the Snorlax, and it's almost a mirror because I'm going to come in here with my Dragonite against their Snorlax, just like we saw the situation reversed in the lead. This match right here in particular really shows you why Empoleon is a stud. It is one of the best Pokemon in the Ultra League Premier Cup. You can't even change my mind. I was going to say change my mind, but there's just no way around it. We're going to try to work up to a second Dragon Claw, but my internal timer there is telling me the Body Slam is close, so we're going to go ahead and fire that off. We do KO that Snorlax. In comes Lapras. We are in huge trouble. 2 shields, a healthy Lapras, and an Empoleon with a little bit of energy. What can we do here? We are going to keep the faith and go straight for these Drill Pecks. In comes that Dragonite. This is a huge mistake because it gives us 2 or 3 waterfalls worth of energy, and that might change this matchup, but it's going to be really, really close. Either way, Empoleon performs so well here. I am worried this is a Skull Bash, so I will shield, and it is. So we are down 0 shields to 2, half health Empoleon, defense buffed Lapras. This seems hopeless. We take that first shield, we're going to work up a few more waterfalls here, and we go for another Drill Peck. Again, Drill Peck's such a fabulous coverage move for Empoleon, giving it something to hit back against so many Pokemon that do well against it. We're going to go for another Drill Peck here, battlers, and this one is going to go through. My opponent does get to another move. Is it a Skull Bash, and can we survive? It is a Skull Bash, but we hang on. We're going to try to work up to one more Drill Peck. Can we get there, battlers? One more waterfall, and we get there. This is going to be enough to bring down that Lapras from the 2-0 shield deficit. Empoleon flexing those penguin muscles. Jumping right into this game, Shadow Snorlax into Togekiss. These licks are not resisted, so as you can tell, they are slowly melting this Togekiss. We're going to try to work up to 2 Body Slams here to put some pressure on it, and we're going to fire off the first one right here. Togekiss does shield, and we're going to go for our second Body Slam as quickly as we can. That one does go through, and this Togekiss is quite weak. It does have a lot of energy here, so I'm not going to shield this charge attack. Willing to give up switch advantage, but we hang on and we get one more lick in, which is not a huge deal. Going to come in here with Empoleon and Waterfall down. We are up 2 shields, but we did give up switch advantage. In comes Machamp. We go to Shadow Dragonite. Out comes Gyarados. This is really, really rough, battlers. We're in a tough spot here. As you just saw in that previous match, Gyarados is going to win this matchup. He does allow that Dragon Claw through, and this matchup is a lot more even. We even force him to burn his energy here, which is actually really good for us. Crunch is going to go through. We come in with Empoleon, and we're going to try to farm. We successfully farm down. In comes that Machamp. I'm going to go straight for the Drill Peck here. This will not KO a healthy Machamp, but I hope that these waterfalls will add up. My opponent is going to try to counter me down with fast moves when we get to the Drill Peck. Is it going to be enough at mid health to KO Machamp? And it is. Empoleon with beautiful coverage moves here. Going into this 4th game, Shadow Snorlax encounters another Togekiss. Let's see how my opponent decides to play this matchup. We're going to try to work up some energy here and get to those Body Slams. That's obviously the right move, but I always like to hold on to my energy in the Go Battle League because these trainers are so good with their switches. You never know exactly when it's going to happen, so it really forces you to kind of change your timing dependent on your opponent. Togekiss deciding to fire off the move here. It will be the Aerial Ace, which is not enough to KO Snorlax, allowing us to get to that next Body Slam. Snorlax is such a wonderful lead. I really love this Pokemon in front because it has such great kind of neutral matchups across the field. We are able to push for one more Body Slam, but this Honchkrow is extremely dangerous. Just 3 Snarls, 4 Snarls worth of energy now, and it's going to have a Sky Attack loaded and ready to go. There's a lot of hype about Honchkrow right before Ultra League Premier Cup came out. I do think the hype is real. It's just such a difficult Pokemon to use. You've got to be really skilled to use it. As you can see there, the Dark Pulse taking half of Empoleon's health. Extremely devastating attack. We are going to be forced to shield up the second Sky Attack, and I swap here into Shadow Dragonite. Trying to farm down here, but Honchkrow is so blazingly fast. Going to get to another Sky attack, and we're forced to shield that. My opponent does come in with their Snorlax, though. This is a Shadow Snorlax, so we get both of my featured Pokemon in a battle situation here, thanks to my opponent. Shout out to my opponents in the Go Battle League. It's always a fun time. Here comes a charge move from the Snorlax. I'm anticipating the Body Slam, and it will be. We are going to push for the Dragon Claw, but unable to get there. Going to come in with Empoleon, and let's see if Empoleon can mop up this mess and win us this game, just like it has several times in the past. That Hydro Cannon is not enough. If this is a superpower, we are done for. And it's just a Body Slam. Empoleon holding strong. One more Waterfall is all we need, and we get it. Going into the next match, Snorlax into a Scavalier. We lose this hard, battlers. We do not want to face off against a Scavalier. I'm actually going to push straight for a superpower here, but we're going to lose the CMP tie. Another important thing to note when you're facing a Pokemon like a Scavalier is that it is going to win these matchups here against the Snorlax. I do land that superpower though, which is really great for us, and I try to farm down with Dragonite, but the quick swap into my opponent's Dragonite. This extra damage is really not enough to offset the mirror. Normally a healthy Dragonite like this is going to win it pretty handily, especially if you throw a charge move there. As you can tell, we just got chunked down by Dragon Breath, which is no bueno. At this point, I am going to come in with Empoleon. I'm anticipating a Dragon-type attack, and it is a Dragon Claw, which is really great for us. Another great facet of Empoleon is that it does resist those Dragon-type attacks with the Steel typing. Anticipating a Hurricane here, I do shield, but it's just a Dragon Claw, so my opponent successfully baited there. Really, really nice play. And then out comes my opponent's Empoleon. So we are in the mirror here. I do have that superpower asset on Snorlax, so I don't know if your brain is like mine, but as soon as I see another Pokemon come out, I try to think of what I can do to flip the matchup. We switch here, and then we are able to barely lick down. Can we get to the Body Slam? And we are just able to do it. Hopefully this forces a shield. If my opponent thinks it's a superpower, it will, and it does not force this shield. My opponent doing really, really well here. A little bit of desync so we don't get any more attacks, which happens to a lot of people I know. We're going to come in here with our fast moves and try to fast move down Empoleon, but it's got to be close to 2 Hydro Cannons. Can we do it, battlers? 1, 2, and another Hydro Cannon comes through. This is going to be really, really close. Razor thin margins here. We survive. One more Waterfall and mutual KO. Going into this match, Snorlax into Abomasnow. That big bad Abomasnow is really, really cool. I don't have a perfect Snover, so I haven't built one. I actually work up quite a bit of energy there, and I anticipate a Weather Ball, so I don't shield, but it's an energy ball, and it does take a nice chunk out of Snorlax. Gonna go for a Body Slam here, hoping my opponent thinks it's a superpower, because as you know, that superpower would be super effective, but they don't shield. Gonna go for another Body Slam here, but my opponent is gonna outpace me. This will be a Weather Ball, which probably would have brought us very, very close to being within KO range there, but we're going to go ahead and fire off the Body Slam, and my opponent actually doesn't shield, so the big man on my side wins that matchup, trying to get a Body Slam off on Togekiss, and this just really demonstrates the staying power of something like Snorlax. If you aren't really forceful with it, it will stay in that matchup, and it will make you pay. We come in with Empoleon, the quick swap here into Swampert and Shadow Dragonite. We really don't want to take a Sludge Wave here. I'm going to try to push for the Dragon Claw as soon as possible because I don't want the Swampert to get too comfortable and maybe in a bait situation because I only have that one shield. My opponent is going to go for a charge move here. I decide not to shield. It's a Hydro Cannon. Very, very good news for us. But they have back-to-back Hydro Cannons. As you can see in Ultra League with this Shadow Dragonite, that Hydro Cannon takes about half health. So it's very different from the Master League where I think Dragonite could take maybe 2 or maybe 3 comfortably. It was a really, really different scenario back there. But we're going to try to Dragon Breath down, and my opponent lets us do it. Over farming, too zealous. Here comes that Togekiss. We come in with the Empoleon. Luckily, the switch timer was up, and my opponent is going to surrender the match. Going to this game, Shadow Snorlax Mirror. What is up, Shadow Snorlax? What a cool situation to be in. It looks like my opponent is maybe lagging or desyncing there, but our health is about the same. So I think it's just a visual glitch. They do go straight for the body slam, but I am going to do the same thing. I consider going for the superpower there, but we're going to go ahead and throw up the body slam. My opponent does not shield. I think here, yes, I go for the superpower the second time, trying to make them learn their lesson for not shielding the mighty Snorlax. This one is going to get shielded though, so we are going to try and dirty swap, but it doesn't exactly work. I heard, oh, and the superpower on their side as well. How funny. I heard that for some trainers, the switch mechanic is fixed and you're actually able to lock your opponent in on CMP tie with the swaps, but I don't know if that's the case for me. Let me know down in the comments if that's what it's been for you. Togekiss is going to charm us down. No surprise at all there. And because it was a very fast farm, I'm actually going to wait down that switch timer and then bring in Empoleon. Empoleon Waterfall is doing really good work here, and that Togekiss is going to get to a charge move. This will be a flamethrower, and we are not going to shield. Empoleon's going to hang on, and I'm going to try to fast move down here, and we are just able to do it. My opponent is going to come back in with that Snorlax. I could see that normal icon pop up before the Snorlax even appeared, so I knew that's what it was. We KO, out comes Obstagoon, and we are in big trouble here. We do not like to see a counter user in the back with this team. A couple times we've been able to handle it in the lead because we have that safe swap of our Dragonite, but a counter user in the back is really bad news bears. He does go for the Night Slash there, and does get the boost as well. So this is rips for us. This is pretty much done. We're going to go ahead and fire up the body slam here, and this is going to get shielded. My opponent does counter down though, and this is basically GG's. 4 more battles to go. If you are still here, leave me a like, comment down below what you thought, and then subscribe to see more Go Battle League content. Coming in here with the Shadow Snorlax against the Venusaur, we learned last time that we won't outpace it, so I'm not going to try to CMP tie here, instead allowing this Venusaur to get its Frenzy Plant off. Snorlax does survive that, and the Vine Whips aren't doing very much, so I'm very comfortable working up to a double body slam here. My opponent still holding their energy is going to allow me to get it through. Or excuse me, they are going to shield, but they're going to allow me to fire it off. Here comes Dragonite, safe swap, and then here comes our Togekiss. Quick, easy farm for Togekiss yet again. I really wish Dragonite had like a 40 energy, a normal type attack, something that would give us some more flexibility besides Dragon Claw, because that's just such a pain to swap in your Shadow Dragonite and just get farmed up in maybe 4 or 5 strokes by that Togekiss, but it is what it is. We are going to eat a flamethrower here on Empoleon, trying to hold on to our shields, and we're going to fast move down that Togekiss just like you saw in the previous match. Going to go ahead straight for the Drill Peck here because I saw the Grass Poison icons there at the top right, and it is a Venusaur. We KO it. In comes another Charmer, and this is not great for us. We're going to go ahead and fire off the Hydro Cannon here, and this is where saving your shields goes wrong, because we have no health, but we've got 2 shields, and it feels bad, man, but we're probably going to lose this match. Going to go ahead and drop the Body Slam there, but we are unable to get to a second one. Clefable is going to sweep us with the Charm. Going to this match, Shadow Snorlax into Swampert. Again, battlers, trying to give you a lot of different looks in the lead scenario. Swampert is going to outpace us to that Hydro Cannon, so I look for the swap there, but I'm just a pinch too late. My opponent does get to the Hydro Cannon, and we are going to tank that. Going to come in here with our Shadow Dragonite and try to force my opponent to swap, but they don't. Interesting tactic here. I'm actually going to decide to let this go. Another Hydro Cannon, not a big deal. Gonna go for the Dragon Claw and try to put some pressure on my opponent if they decide to stay in. And when your opponent does things like this and shields in this situation, it really kind of makes you wonder, what do they have in the back that is so terrified of this Shadow Dragonite? Or are they playing us and they have something like a Charmer and they're just trying to force shields away from us? So we're going to fire off a Dragon Claw here, and my opponent does not shield the second one. In comes Charizard. This is a matchup I've been wanting to show you. These Dragon Breaths are going to melt Charizard. I know these are both fan favorite Pokemon, and I actually just heard the news that the Community Day Pokemon is going to be voted on again, and Charmander is actually an option. I've heard some options kicked around in terms of what the possible move might be that it might get for an exclusive Community Day move. I've heard rumors of Thunder Punch or Dragon Breath or even Shadow Claw. So if you have a preference for what Charizard should learn, let me know down in the comments below. Superpower on the Obstagoon is going to Sting, and it does, really taking massive damage there. Obstagoon is going to faint from the licks, and that is GG's. Going to this game, Shadow Snorlax into Togekiss. I think this is the third time we've seen this lead scenario. My opponent is going to decide to stay in here for a while, and I'm going to work up as much energy as I can, trying to push for that 2 Body Slam combo. We really want to hit that Body Slam spam and kind of force your opponent to shield. When they see these back-to-back charge moves, sometimes they get really anxious. We are going to land that first one. Here comes a charge move, and it will be Ancient Power. Snorlax can definitely tank that. It's like dropping rocks on a trampoline or a big pillow. Not a big deal at all. Snorlax survives it easily. We're going to try to lick down here, but the charms are just too much. This Togekiss is low on energy, so we comfortably farm up with a Waterfall. And then await my opponent's next Pokemon. And it will be the Clefable. So my opponent did take a long time to think about that, and then they sent out a Charmer, which just makes me think that they don't have anything better to answer for the Empoleon here, which tells me that they might be packing double Charmer here. So we might be in really good shape, and unlike that other game where we got charmed down because we didn't use our shields, we're going to try to learn our lesson here and shield up that Meteor Mash, even though it wouldn't be super effective. We're going to go ahead and fire off a Hydro Cannon here, especially considering that if it's another Charmer, you don't want your Dragonite to be alone, but it's a Charizard. Charizard is going to eat this Hydro Cannon because we got that 1 extra Waterfall, so we're going to outpace it here, and that is going to do massive damage. GG's. Going into the final battle of the video, here we go with Shadow Snorlax into Shadow Best Buddy Lapras. How wild. We're actually going to do something a little bit spicy here, battlers. I'm going to go straight for the superpower. I'm going to be very aggressive here. I'm going to time my swap, fire the superpower, and it lands, taking a huge chunk out of Lapras, swapping into Empoleon, and my opponent is stunned. I know there's no way to tell because the animations all look the same, but he is shooketh. He's got to be feeling that superpower. Here comes Dragonite, and that tells me again that he did not have a better answer to Empoleon, or there's a small chance that he misclicked. But either way, Dragonites, Dragon Breaths, and Dragon Claws are going to be resisted, so I am expecting big attacks only. I am not going to shield this charge move though, and it will be the Dragon Claw. Again, trying to call the bluff there, but that was probably not very smart. There's a really good chance I was a Hurricane with the Dragonite trying to get rid of me, but it actually worked out pretty well for us. We are going to Waterfall down and keep our switch advantage. In comes the Lapras here, and I'm going to try to push for the Hydro Cannon, but he's going to fire off a move. Not a big deal at all here, battlers. We're going to come in here with our Snorlax in just a second and farm down with the Lickies, and we're able to do it. 2 shields, 2 Pokemon. Here comes Togekiss. This is not a good scenario for us, battlers. Another Charmer in the back. It might just foil our plans. We just had a really wonderful showcase of the superpower on that Lapras, but my opponent did let the Body Slam through, which is really curious on my side. I don't know why they would decide to do that. We're actually looking at pretty low, battlers. Can we do something here with our Shadow Dragonite? We're going to bring it in here. We're going to fire these Dragon Breaths, and Dragonite hard counters Togekiss confirmed. Battlers, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment, like the video, and then subscribe to see more. I'll see you in the next one.